everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be a Christmas and birthday reading vlog. So today is the 22nd of December. It's my birthday on the 24th and obviously we've got Christmas on the 25th. I'm going to be vlogging right up until New Year's and we're just going to see what we get up to and see what we read. So there's going to be no set TBR for this video. I'm just going to read what I kind of feel like it, but a couple of books I've got on the go. So I want to start Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive series, so I can't really go into the plot of this one too much because it is the 5th book in a 10-book long series. There's 2 separate story arcs, so this is the end of the first story arc. This is going to be like, I'm going to be chipping away at this book as the week or as the sort of 10 days goes on because it is over 1,300 pages long. So this is going to be like, I'm going to try and read like maybe just over 100 pages a day and see how we get on. And then I'm also currently about halfway through What Lies Between Us by John Mars. This is a thriller novel and we're following a mother and a daughter, and the daughter is keeping her mother chained up in the house and we're slowly uncovering why she's doing this. So the mother's called Maggie and the daughter's called Nina. The mother is I think in her 70s and the daughter's in her late 30s, early 40s maybe. Maggie's husband, Nina's dad, left when Nina was about 13 and then Nina sort of started like rebelling against her mother. I don't want to go into too much of what happens because I do feel like that might give away some of the twists in this story, but it's really good so far, really interesting. Like there's a lot of twists going on and I don't really know whose side I'm on. I can see some of like Maggie's motivations for doing things, but like as a mother you want to protect your daughter, but also like the way she goes about things sometimes isn't always the best. And yeah, like Nina, I mean you shouldn't keep your mother literally chained up in the attic, but not that I can see both sides, but like I can see why they don't like, why they sort of hate each other and why they're doing the things that they're doing. Like neither of them's in the right here, they're both in the wrong. But yeah, this one's really good so far. So I think this afternoon I'm going to start reading Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I'm going out this evening meeting up with some friends for a Christmas meal, so I'll see how much I can get read before that and then we'll see where the rest of the day takes us. So I'm just checking back in. It is now the 23rd of December. I am not working. I think I've already said this, I'm not working now until the 2nd of January. So I met up with some friends last night. We had a really nice tea and then this morning we had a cooked breakfast. I thought I'd do a bit of a treat, and then I've just made some cranberry sausage rolls which I've put a bit of b-roll in prior to this. And last night when I got home from being out with friends, I did in fact finish What Lies Between Us by John Mars, and I gave this one a 4 stars. This was a really good thriller. I've already explained like the sort of premise of this. There's so many twists and turns in this. Like you think you've kind of gotten to the last twist and then something else happens, and yeah, like the main character Nina, she's just completely bonkers. Like I don't want to, like, I'm not going to spoil it for any of you, but like we get to the epilogue and like there's almost something that hasn't quite been resolved. It was then resolved in the epilogue, but I do wish that we had a little bit more to like just have a little bit more of a, not a satisfying ending because it was a satisfying ending, but just have a little bit more time to sit with the consequences of everything that happened, because like it felt like it ended not abruptly. I would like to have seen a bit of the aftermath of it. That's my only criticism of it. It was really fast paced, really fun to read, just yeah, so many twists and turns. I genuinely was struggling to put this down near the end, hence why I kind of basically read most of it in one evening. I have also read the first 300 pages of Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. As I've said, I'm trying to chip away at this slowly. I'm hoping today to read another 100 pages and get to page 400 because it's split into like sections, and that's the end of another section, and then I'm going to probably switch over to something else as it is quite like intense and heavy. So I could read The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I have that one on my Kindle, and I have read her is it like Gallagher Girls series, the 2 spy series back in the day. I love them, so I've got that as an option. So I'm going to head back to reading now and I'll check back in when I got another update. last checked back in. It's now the 28th of December, so I don't think I spoke to you since the 23rd. I can't remember. So obviously we've had my birthday, we've had Christmas, Boxing Day we didn't really do too much. I was honestly just so tired. I have been reading a little bit though, so I am currently on about page 870 of Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I'm glad that I'm reading something else alongside it because it is a bit, not slow, it's an epic fantasy. There is going to be slow bits, but yeah, it feels like, for example, like Dalinar isn't really doing much at the moment, so like his pages are a bit slow to read. It is picking up. I am still really enjoying it. It's just like it's quite intense to read all on its own. So I have started reading The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter, and I remembered she's the one who wrote like the Gallagher Girls series and stuff. I loved that when I was younger. I'm currently only 30% into that one, but it's, so in this one we're following two writers. So we're following basically the main, I think it's only from one perspective. So our main perspective is Maggie, and she's a like cozy mystery writer, and she has like a rival with another mystery writer called Ethan, and she absolutely idolizes this writer called Eleanor, but she's written like 99 crime books. She's the most successful author in this world. Her life's not going too well. Her husband left her for her best friend, and she's just not really coping with life at the moment. So she is invited by a fan through her agent. So her agent knows who the fan is, and she actually ends up spending Christmas with this famous author, and Ethan's also invited. So there's three writers invited. There's Maggie, Ethan, and then another one, and then there's all of this author's family, but like you can definitely kind of tell they're only really interested in her for the money and stuff, and we're not really sure why she's been invited. And then suddenly the author has just gone missing. Maggie thinks that by solving that, like she thinks this mystery is pre-planned, and to like find the author maybe she'll get to write the next book or something. I'm not really sure what Maggie seems to like. Maggie seems to think this is all a bit of fun, and it could be, but she seems to think that like she's gonna write this next book, which is a bit odd. So we've just gotten to that bit, and that's really, really good so far. I am finding the characters, they're supposed to be adults, but they are reading like a little bit young. I think Ali Carter mainly writes like YA or like stuff for teen. Like I read her stuff growing up, and I think she mainly writes from that, so it's a bit jarring. Like they do feel a lot younger than they're supposed to be. But other than that, I am really enjoying it, and I am really enjoying Wind and Truth still. I'm not really saying too much about what the plot is about because it's the 5th book in the series, and they're all like over 1,000 pages long. Like what happened in the first one is not where we are in this 5th one. But yeah, I am still really enjoying it, and I'd highly recommend. I'm loving all the tie-backs to like the Cosmere as well, like Brandon Sanderson's Greater Universe, and yeah, it's just really fun. Like not like we're finally getting payoff, but like because I've read so much of his stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that, so that's really cool. But yeah, I'm going to carry on reading. I've got some family coming up later for a takeaway, so I'm not going to get too much reading done tonight, but I'll let you know what I do get read. So I'm checking back in. It's been a couple of days. It's now the 30th of December, and I have now finished Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I'm really conflicted on how I feel about this one. So I did like it, but it just doesn't feel as epic and as well written as the rest of the books in this series. The rest of the books in this series are 5 stars for me. This one, I don't know if it's a 3 or a 4. I really don't know how I feel about it. I have no problem with the length of these books. Like these are all over 1,000 pages long. I have no issue with that. But I feel like this one had a lot in it that we could have actually just cut out, and it would have made no difference to the story. Like there's a big chunk of this book where, so no spoilers, so Dalinar, personally, who I think has one of the most interesting storylines in this whole series, he's just like prancing around in visions for like 800 pages, not really achieving a lot. And I understand he learned quite a bit in these visions. If you've read this, then you know how that storyline comes to fruition. But I'm just kind of like, oh, did we really need 700 pages of that? And then Kaladin, again, who I think is like the second most interesting character in this whole series. He started out being a bridgeman, and he's come so far in that, and he's literally just spending this entire book as someone's therapist. Literally someone's therapist. He's even said that, and I'm just kind of like, you are like a critical character in this story, and you are so far away from the action that like you're not even in this book. Like, well, he is, but it's like and I just don't really understand why he was where he was. And like there were so many reveals in this as well. So like, again, no spoilers. Sorry, this book is really heavy to hold. No spoilers, but there's quite a few reveals. So like at one point we're with Shallan, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, and stuff is revealed about her that's just kind of then just brushed under the carpet, and I'm like, that is pretty critical to this story. and that's a big thing, and it's just kind of mentioned and then just kind of like brushed under the carpet. And then there's other things as well, like again, like Dalinar's whole storyline of him trying to be a better person, trying to like save the world, everything that comes with that, and everything that's happened in previous books with like Sadus and everything like that, it's just kind of like not even mentioned, like not even acknowledged. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know, like, and I've avoided looking at reviews of this book until I'd finished it, because I didn't want anyone to influence how I felt, and a lot of people feel the same way. And I know like he's had criticism before about the length of the books and things like that, but this is really the only book in this series that I feel like he could have cut a lot out of. Like, I feel like we could have cut a lot out of this and still come to the same conclusion. And I'm not unhappy with the ending. I know that this is the end of the first arc of this 10-book series, so we're halfway through, so it wasn't going to be like a happily ever after, but I was kind of expecting something a bit different, and that's not a criticism of the writing or the book, that's of me. Maybe I was thinking it was going to be kind of almost two separate series in one, I don't know, but we've kind of ended. I'm not going to say any more about the ending. But yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting, and that's not criticism of the book, that's me and my expectations of the book. But yeah, I'm not really sure on how I feel about this one. I'm really conflicted. I really don't know what to rate it. So I'm going to go with like a 4, but I don't think it is a 4. I'm really not sure. But yeah, like I did enjoy it, but there were some bits in it that just really did feel like a slog. Like it really did feel like a slog in parts, and yeah, it wasn't my favourite. I feel like this one especially, and the final book in the Skyward series, Defiant, they weren't his best. And like when I think of how the Mistborn original era ended, that was fantastic, and I think this ending of the Skyward series wasn't great. Like it was good, it wasn't great, and I feel like he did, if we had another 50 pages, that could have wrapped it really nicely, but he left it open to write another series, which is fine, but I feel like you should wrap that series up anyway, regardless of if you're going to do another series in that world. And yeah, like this one, again, I just don't think it's his best. And yeah, I don't know, maybe my expectations are a bit too high for him now. But yeah, I know I'm not the only one looking at the reviews. I know I'm not the only one that felt that way. But yeah, that's this one done at least. I'm glad that I've read it. Didn't take me, I was expecting to have to take this into 2025 with me, so yeah, I'm glad that I've finally finished this one. I haven't read any more of The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I'm still only 30% through that one, so I think I'm gonna read a bit of that today, because it is quite a light-hearted read. Like it's a sort of thriller-ish. I'm not really sure, is it romance or is it thriller? I don't really know, but I'm enjoying that one so far. And then maybe I'll pick up something else for this vlog. I mean, we have only got a couple of days left before 2025, so I'll see how we feel. Maybe I could read like the Cinnamon Bun bookstore or something and just take that into another vlog or something. But yeah, so that is my feelings on Wind and Truth. I mean, if you've read it, let me know what you think, because I know I'm not alone in feeling this way, but yeah, I just don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the day. So I'm just checking back in to wrap this reading vlog up. I have finished reading The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I did enjoy this one. I think I'm going to give it a 3 stars though. I was expecting more of an interesting sort of like crime aspect to this book. I found that it focused very heavily on the romance, which I didn't not like, but I was just expecting something a bit different. And I do feel like the romance, I understand that they had been friends to enemies, like enemies to friends for like quite a few years, but it just felt really like rushed. And yeah, I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. It was a really quick read and not too festive, but like certainly set at Christmas, so it was nice to read at this time of the year. So that's wrapping this reading vlog up. So I read What Lies Between Us by John Mars, Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, and then The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. So yeah, that's going to be it for this reading vlog. I hope you've enjoyed. If you've made it this far, please remember to like if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!